This country's most recognized and longest-serving funnyman. He has played the comedy game on many different levels, which include being part of the handful of comedians that pioneered the trade here at home with the PURE Monate Show back in the 90s. The fact that for the longest time he was the only white comedian here at home who worked amongst his black counterparts without sticking out like a sore thumb, or better yet, even managed to make us forget all about color, makes him one of the special ones. Years later, he's still at it and one of the very best. Today, Chris Forrest is our young creative we're celebrating here on Morning Live. You're our young creative, Chris Forrest.
I'm young creative. Fantastic. I was always striving for that.
Talk to me about the moment you heard, Chris Forrest heard that you are funny, and it meant more than just a compliment. It meant that, in actual fact, you were funny.
I think that was probably my first gig. My first gig as you mean in a professional sense?
Yeah, and from even before the professional sense, before you realized that maybe this is something I could turn into a living or something that I should venture into.
I think it was only when I did my first ever proper gig that I decided I could do a living out of it. Before, I would never have guessed it.
But what got you on stage? What was it?
Booze. Lots of it. No, I was actually, the first time I got on stage, I was trying to impress a lady. Yes, I know. And then it went horribly wrong. But I ended up on stage anyway, and then I did it again because you could win a 6-pack of beer, and I really like beer. And then there was a man who came to me in the toilet, and this is a true story. He said you should come and do a 10-minute set, and his name was Darren Mauld. He's very successful.
Yeah, it's in the East Coast radio.
That's the one, yes. Yeah. And so I came back and I did a 10-minute set, and it went really well, and I've never looked back.
So what was Chris Forrest doing before he became a comedian? What was life like before that?
It was terrible. I was working in a call center.
What?
I was working in a call center for DSTV.
Really?
True story. And people say you must have had loads of material, but I didn't, because it was tragic. It wasn't funny. It was disgusting.
So there's this moment that you're doing a 10-minute set. Darren Moore asks you to come back. You then decide, okay, I'm going to do this for a living.
Yeah.
And then, is it a meteoric rise to the Chris Forrest we know today, or was it like, okay, that was great, now I've got to do the hard work?
Yeah, I did a lot of hard work. I still had a day job for the first kind of year and a half that I was doing comedy. And then,
Sure.
then eventually, I just decided I've got to jump in the deep end and just quit my job and go into this full time. And then I did.
What was people around you like? What was family, friends saying about? Were you always the life of the party, always entertaining?
I'm actually a very shy person. I'm very quiet.
In real life?
Yes. So
off stage?
Off stage, I'm very quiet. So everyone thought I was insane, and my dad was like, "Stick to your day job." And then eventually, they saw me in the You magazine. So nobody actually believes you're successful until you appear in that magazine. And then my mom was like, okay, well, maybe this can be a real career.
Talk to me about the creative aspect, because, what we don't often understand is that comedians have to be creative. They have to see other things that or they have to be open to things that other people might not see the funny in it. What is Chris Forrest like on a day-to-day basis in terms of that creativity, creating new material, making sure that you stay relevant?
I just drink a lot of coffee and then hope something comes to me. That's my process. Sometimes I go for a walk from the bedroom to wherever I'm going.
What is look here, this is a serious conversation, young man.
Sorry.
This is our young creative of whatever.
Oh, sorry.
Let's talk about family life, because one of the things we understand now, you've got a show currently that's running, or that's about to come in.
It's going to start in the end of May. Yes.
Why is Chris Forrest so funny, and why are you so relevant at the moment?
I think comedians just have a different way of looking at the world. Like it's almost it's a mirror on society. That's my old show. That's
the flip side.
Yeah.
It's not playing on the 27th of September.
No, not at all. No, that was 2 years ago. But it's just a mirror on society that kind of looks at things in a different way and makes people look at themselves. Because one of the secrets to comedy is truth.
Yeah.
So it's only...
It is a reflection of truth, isn't it?
Yes, it is, in a different way. And then it makes you think about yourself as well.
Being a dad, does that change comedy?
It changes it a fair bit because now your perspective on everything changes. So now I see a lot through the eyes of my daughter. I spend a lot of money on Huggies.
All of us.
Yeah, so well, I didn't... Do you have children or do you just like nappies?
Children.
Okay, good, because that would have been awkward. No, just you never know. So and then you kind of, the late nights are more difficult because your child doesn't care that you only got in at 2 a.m. from a gig.
Yeah.
She still wants to play, and so your whole, like, I say Huggies, but now your motivation is to look after your child rather than just.
Yeah. Does your daughter allow Chris Forrest to reflect on himself? And when you reflect on yourself, because you're obviously seeing this extension of you, and what are the things that you've discovered through your daughter that you didn't know about Chris Forrest? Being Chris Forrest.
I'm able to change a nappy. I don't mind vomit. No, I think you discover a whole other part of yourself where you're looking after this little life and you don't have a choice now. And it's quite awesome, but it's just like watching her grow, and that's that kind of thing. And then when she learns a new word, now you get excited and things like that.
Little things like
yeah.
Quickly, for a lot of people watching this morning, you've got a show coming up. Where is it? Details so we can book it out and make sure it's successful so you can afford nappies.
Yes, please do. It's at the Santon Theatre on the Square. It's called Who's Your Daddy? Proudly brought to you by Huggies. And tickets are at strictlytickets.com.
Okay.
Running from the 19th to the 31st of May. Tickets are selling very fast, so you have to book now. Well, that's just what you're supposed to say when you have a show. Everyone says that.
So you need to go and get your tickets. It's very, very important. And let's book it out. It's very funny, man. He's our young creative this morning. Chris Forrest is one of South Africa's funniest men. He really is very funny. And a successful entertainer. He has been doing comedy for over 2 decades. And as you can see, he's still really, really good at finding that funny bone. He's our young creative. I think